नमो विष्णुपादाय
कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले
भक्तिवेदान्त
श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते
नमस्ते
सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे
जय श्री कृष्ण
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद
हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे.
Yes, so anyone remembers or anyone would like to summarize what we discussed in our last session?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Last session it was we need the leader in every, either it is a spiritual life
After
or
that
in
also, wait. After that also one session has happened. That was about while Lord needs to work. So I'm talking about that session, which is having verse number 22 to 24. So yes, anyone would like to summarize that one? Anyone remembers? Hmm? Anyone remembers?
Recording in progress.
All right. So basically, in our last session, we covered 3 verses of Bhagavad Gita of chapter 3rd, Karma Yoga. That was verse number 22, 23, and 24, where we learned why Krishna, he himself act or works. Earlier Krishna was mentioning that Arjuna, he was giving an example of Janaka. How Janak Maharaj, who is a Mahajana, has set an example by performing his prescribed duty and he has attained the perfection. Mahajanas again are the one who are well versed with the Dharma Tattva. They know about Dharma. So he has set an example in the society. So same way, Krishna again cites another example of himself, where we understood that he was countering how when Arjuna placed a argument not to fight, that if I fight, Varna Shankara means unwanted population will increase in the society. So Krishna, he counter argued or he counters this argument of Arjuna by saying, if you don't act as per dharma, there will be unwanted population in the society. Just like now we are seeing, as Kali Yuga is progressing and people, they, like dharma is getting hina, is getting destroyed over a period of time, is deteriorating. So the population is also, the population that we are getting is not some good population. Especially this can be experienced by those who are parents. How difficult it is to handle a child. Earlier, children used to be very simple, sober. It was easy to manage. But nowadays, it is so tough. And children are also going into lot of bad habits. They are going into lot of bad habits and developing such bad attitude, and they are also getting depressed. A lot of such things we are seeing in the society. So further, Krishna, we understood that Krishna acts also for the pleasure of the devotees. He acts to establish dharma, but moreover he performs his actions for the pleasure of his devotees. Some of you remember any example where Krishna is serving his devotees? Yes, any example?
Arjun. He is
Arjun.
the Arjun. He is serving to Arjun.
Okay.
charioteer of Arjuna.
Yes. So Krishna,
Great Vaishnava, Arjuna. Great.
yes. So Krishna, he acted as a peace messenger, which is also a very menial job. We understood Krishna, he washed the feet of the people who were attending the Rasu Yagna. He was handling all their footwears. And Krishna also took up a position of a chariot driver of Arjuna. And if you see the duty of a chariot driver and the duty that Krishna was playing as a chariot driver, as a charioteer for Arjuna, was when Arjuna has to mount the chariot, Krishna has to bow down so that Arjuna can put his feet on the shoulder of Krishna and he can climb or mount onto the chariot. And when Arjuna has to give direction in the battlefield, where to go, which side to go. So how he is giving direction? Because there is a lot of noise in the battlefield. It is not like peaceful place where you can hear easily. So Arjuna has to hit or kick Krishna to tell him take to that direction. So see Krishna, who is that supreme Lord, he is a Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, he is a Sarva Karana Karanam. He, for the pleasure of his devotees to serve his devotees, he takes such menial positions. He takes pleasure by serving the devotees, and devotees take even more pleasure to serve Krishna. So we can see how Krishna he was, performing his duties for the pleasure of his devotees. So yes, we'll continue verse number 25th onwards. And one very nice thing was mentioned here is we understood that is nor should one try to occupy their post without qualification. One should have the qualification to acquire certain post, not material qualification. A person should have just like we see in the society, there are a lot of people, they don't have qualification, but they act in such a way that how great they are, and they cheat and they play with the faith of the people. We see a lot of such godmen's bogus people. They play with the faith of the people and they cheat them. So one should not try to do this thing. Here clearly it is mentioned there are so many incarnations of God without the power of the Supreme Godhead, and they simply cheat the people. They try to imitate that Supreme Lord, but they cheat the people, and innocent people also get carried away. That's why a person has to make inquiries. A person should have an intelligence to differentiate, to understand what is right, what is wrong. When person acts in that way, he is always protected. He is always protected. And the inquiries he has to make he should be very submissive. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, submissively he should approach and inquire. Alright, so we'll chant this 25th verse. Sakataha karmani advamso
Satta karmanna viddhamso
yatha kurvanti bharata
यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत
kuryad vidvams tatha shaktas
कुर्यात् विद्वांस तथा शक्तस्
tikir surloka sangramaham.
चिकीर्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहम्
Yes, anyone would like to chant the shloka?
Sakta karmanno vittangso jatha kurvanti bharata urjat viddans tatha saktasya chikirsu loka sangraham.
Wonderful. Yes, anyone else?
सक्तः कर्मणि अविद्वंसो यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद् विद्वांस तथा सक्तः चिकीर्षुर्लोक संग्रहम्.
Wonderful. Yes, someone else would like to try? Someone would like to chant the shloka? Alright, we will continue with translation. As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, similarly, the learned man may also act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people onto the right path. Wonderful verse Krishna is bringing here. We'll read the purport, then we'll try to understand more in detail. A person in Krishna consciousness and a person not in Krishna consciousness are differentiated by different desires. A Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not conducive to development of Krishna consciousness. He may even act like the ignorant person who is too much attached to the material activities, but one is engaged in such activities for the satisfaction of his senses, whereas other is engaged for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, the Krishna conscious person is required to show the people how to act, how to engage the results of their action for the purpose of Krishna consciousness. Very practical and very important verse. We can understand a lot of things from this. That all of us, if we see, we have various desires, aspirations, attachments in our life, and we lead our life in that manner. Suppose I am attached to my nation, so I will be very patriotic and I will be having strong feelings towards the nation, and I'll take decisions in my life in such a way that it is favorable or it's somewhere aligned with the interest of the nation. Just like we see a lot of fans when there is a cricket match happens between India or Pakistan, especially during that time, World Cup or some such matches, we see some people, they even break their television set out of frustration because they have that patriotism, like they are very attached towards their nation, and when they see their nation is no more is winning, is no more able to secure as a winner, they get disturbed and they get devastated in their life. So same way, if we see in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Krishna, he sent his proposal to both Arjuna and Kauravas, Duryodhan party and Pandavas. So he sent proposal, one side I will be there and another side my entire army, Narayani Sena, will be there, and I give opportunity to both of you to choose whatever you want. So after receiving that proposal, both Arjuna and Duryodhana, they rushed like anything. Arjuna is also madly rushing and Duryodhana is also madly rushing towards Krishna. Krishna was taking rest, and as they were invited by Krishna himself, so they were allowed in the inner chambers of Krishna where he was taking rest. And as we know that Duryodhan, he went and stand in such a way that as soon as Krishna opens his eyes, he stand at the head of Krishna, towards the head of Krishna. As soon as he opens his eyes, he will immediately speak out, army, army, army. he came with that preparation. As soon as Krishna opens his eyes, he will say army. And Arjuna, being a devotee, he was completely surrendered to the Lord. He went and he sat near to the lotus feet of the Lord. Because a devotee always wants to be situated himself at the lotus feet of the Lord. So he was sitting in that way, and as we all know, Krishna, he got up and immediately asked Arjuna, Arjuna, you have come here, what do you want? And Duryodhana, he interrupted that I have come first, and as per Dharma, as per Arth Shastra, you have to give support to me. Whatever I want, you should satisfy me as I have come to you. So, Krishna, he says, you are speaking of Artha Shastra, but as per Dharma Shastra, Arjuna is junior to you, and I also saw Arjuna first, so he should be given opportunity first. So Arjuna, you ask what you want. Arjuna said, as we know, he said, Krishna, Krishna, I want you. So back of the mind, Duryodhana, he was rejoicing. Oh, what kind of fool he is. And he rushed, and Duryodhana, he was shouting, we have won the battle, we have won the battle, because we have got the Narayani Sena, which cannot be defeated in the battlefield. Whereas Arjuna, being a devotee who is very wise, who is very well aware about the position of Krishna, he knows that Krishna is Akhila Brahmana Nayaka. He is the creator, he is the master of the entire creation, universe, and from his body, pores, lakhs and crores of universe are emanating. What is this Narayani Sena? I just want Krishna in my life. So if we see here, even a devotee, being a devotee, Arjuna is also very much attached. He is also running. He is also rushing. And Duryodhana is also rushing and running. Both are running towards Krishna. One is running towards Krishna to get something from Krishna, to exploit Krishna. And one is running towards Krishna to have Krishna in his life. That's why many people, out of not knowing, unknowingly, when they visit holy places, they ask Lord, give me this, give me that, I want this, I want that. They do various business transactions with the Lord. Rather than doing that, what should be our mood is, we should carry the Lord in our heart. We should carry the Lord in our heart. Like many people, when they visit Vrindavan, this is what I request them. Don't ask anything from Krishna. You just ask Krishna that I want you to be in my life. When our life is centered around Krishna, automatically everything will be taken care. We no need to ask. Even though we see attachment, lot of people also attached to Krishna, they visit holy places, but a devotee whose eyes are always pointed with the love for Krishna, he just simply wants Krishna in his life. He is also visiting holy place for what purpose? To add Krishna into his life. Just like Arjuna, he rushed towards Krishna. For what purpose? He knows that Krishna is not going to lift any weapon. So same way, just like suppose, We have also attachments, like many of you are working. Suppose your company says, no, you have to work, but don't expect anything. If you get it, okay. If you don't get, no worries. You should not get worried. Don't worry about your paychecks, your salary. So what will happen? Not be able to work, right? Not be able to work because there is certain attachment for our own self. Whereas devotee, he is working, running here and there. For what purpose? For the satisfaction of the Lord. In our life, we develop various such material attachments, like our relationships, our wealth, bank balance, our friends, or various such activities. We develop all this attachment, and we get so much grossly attached to all these things that we forget the purpose of the life itself. And Shastras are saying all these things that we are gathering in our life are like asat senya. Asat senya means when there is a need, that army is not there to fight the battle. When there is a need, the army is no more there to fight the battle. Suppose there is a war between two countries, and one country, both the countries are maintaining their army for a long time. But out of these two countries, one country's army runs away during the battle time. What is the use of maintaining such army? So what we should do? What we should do? A person, when he leaves the body, go to Shamshana Ghat, Shamshana or crematorium place. We chant Ram Naam Satya Hai. Ram Naam Satya Hai. Sat means which is eternal, which is truth. So that time we understand only the holy name of the Lord, only Lord is going to help us. Only Lord can help us. But what will happen? When we come out of that place, we forget all these things. We again come back to the normal activities. Normal activities means developing more such asat senya. More such asat senya. So then what is the solution? What is the solution? That solution is one has to hear about Krishna. Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, Nashta Prayasho Bhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. All these abhadras will get simply destroyed when we hear about Krishna regularly. When we hear about him regularly. Otherwise, we may acquire all the knowledge. That knowledge will not help us to implement in our day-to-day life. We come across various panditas, scholars. They have all the knowledge of the scriptures, but when it comes to implementation, they are failed to implement all that knowledge because they are not hearing submissively regular basis. They are not attached to Krishna, but they are attached to their scholarship. They are very much attached towards their scholarship. I want to be a pandita. I want to be a very knowledgeable person. Everyone should recognize me in the society as the most knowledgeable person. So what happens? They don't develop attachment to Krishna. They don't develop that attachment. So, a learned man, who is a learned man? Who not only have the education, who not only have wisdom, knowledge, he also knows how to implement that knowledge to lead his life. A person becomes learned when he knows how to implement these teachings of the scriptures into their day-to-day life. Otherwise, there is no use of such scholarship. That scholarship will not help us. There is a very strong statement of the scriptures. Bhagavad Bhakti hinasya jati shastra japas tapas apranasya hi dehasya mandanam loka ranjanam. Bhagavad Bhakti hinasya. If one does not develop Bhagavad Bhakti, devotion for Krishna, even after jati shastra japas tapas. Jati means having a good birth, like a Brahmana family, a very aristocratic family, taking birth in such high family. Jati shastra, and he has gone through various shastras also. Jati shastra japas tapas. He has done a lot of japa also, chanting various of mantras, and he has performed a lot of austerities in his life. But if he has not, all these things has not helped him to develop Bhagavad Bhakti, to develop devotion for Krishna, attachment for Krishna, it is as good as decorating. Mandanam loka ranjanam apranasya hi dehasya. Apranasya hi means, dehasya means body. A body which is not having prana means dead body. It is as good as decorating the dead body. As we all know, when we leave the body, when soul leaves the body, there is no more glow in the body. How much ever you may decorate, that glow will not come back. If you have seen the dead body, you can easily make out that how much ever you may try, that glow will never come. Same way, if Krishna is not there in our life, or is not as a center of our life, how much ever we may try to do or make arrangements in our life to be happy by developing various relationships, by doing various activities, developing our bank balance, this, that, so many things we may try. But if we have not developed that Bhagavad Bhakti, it is of no use. Even a person, he may take sannyasa, he may do all the things. It will be just a ritual if he has not developed that Bhagavad Bhakti. So our all the actions in our life should be in such a way that we should make spiritual advancement. We should make spiritual advancement. We should develop that attachment or love for Krishna, the devotion for Krishna. If that is happening, all our actions, even though we may be a big person, like a rich person, or big businessman, or PM, CM, whatever position we may be, our life will be successful if all our actions are leading or helping us to develop that Bhagavad Bhakti. So that is the work one has to do. So how one can do? By following the examples of Mahajanas, great Acharyas. Then only it is possible. Then only it is possible. We'll read the next shloka. Na buddhi vedam jnane yad ajnanam karma sanginam josayet sarva karmani vidvana yukta samachara. Translation. Let not the wise disrupt the minds of the ignorant who are attached to fruitive actions. They should not be encouraged to refrain from work, but to engage in work in the spirit of devotion. So very nice practical, statement Krishna has made here. We will try to understand this after reading this purport. Vedasya sarvair ahameva vedya. That is the end of all Vedic rituals. All rituals, all performances of sacrifice, and everything that is put into the Vedas, including all direction for material activities, are meant for understanding Krishna, who is the ultimate goal of life. But because the conditioned souls do not know anything beyond sense gratification, they study Vedas to that end. Through sense regulations, however, one is gradually elevated to Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a realized soul in Krishna consciousness should not disturb others in their activities or understanding, but he should act by showing how the results of all work can be dedicated to the service of Krishna. The learned Krishna conscious person may act in such a way that the ignorant person working for sense gratification may learn how to act and how to behave. Although the ignorant man is not to be disturbed in his activities, still a slight developed Krishna conscious person may directly be engaged in the service of the Lord without waiting for other Vedic formulas. For this fortunate man, there is no need to follow the Vedic rituals. There is no need to follow the Vedic rituals. Because in direct Krishna consciousness, one can have all results simply by following the prescribed duties of a particular person. So here, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Vedasya sarver ahameva vedya. From all the Vedas, I am to be understood. I am the goal of all the Vedas. As we know, we have discussed earlier also, how many scholars, they get carried away by their Vedic scholarship. By their Vedic scholarship. They don't understand that the goal of all this scholarship or the Vedas is to develop a relationship with Krishna. So for that, one need an acharya. As mentioned, acharyavan purusho veda. These acharyas, they know the purport of the Vedas. They know in and out of the Vedas. They are very well versed with the Vedas. They know how to lead the life from these Vedas, these scriptures. So when we take guidance in such a way, a person in general can easily make a spiritual advancement. And can get free from the cycle of birth and death. Just like all of us know that when Narad Muni, he met a thief by name Ratnakar, he was not at all able to chant Lord Ram name. So Narad Muni, he is an acharya, he is a mahajana, he is a pure devotee of the Lord, he knows the purport of the Vedas. So what he did, he asked Ratnakar, this thief, you chant Mara. Because you have performed lot of sinful activities in your life, you are not able to chant Lord Ram name, you chant Mara. So he continuously chanted Mara, 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 Mara. So what happened? He gradually able to chant Lord Ram name. Because Mara, Mara, Mara sounding coming to Lord Ram. And he chanted that name for thousands of years. And as we all know, he got purified and he wrote Ramayana, the great Itihas Ramayana he wrote and became known as Valmiki. Same way, we see like we construct huge temple for the Lord, whereas Lord is not saying to construct a temple for me, but we construct a huge temple for the Lord. So I would like to ask why we construct such temples. Yes, anyone would like to share? What is the need of such temples?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, as hospitals, as Prabhupada is saying, that as hospitals are needed for curing our illness, but that is at a bodily level. So, likewise, our soul is conditioned with lot of negative impact which we have done over previous so many lives. So, our soul needs to get pure. So, for the service of at a soul level, these temples are acting like hospitals. So that way, temple is much more needed to create that awareness and to bring the people on the path of Krishna consciousness.
Yes. So nicely
And then,
mentioned.
like,
Yes.
people can relate by seeing the deities and they can offer worship. So in that Vigraha form, Krishna has given us, Krishna has actually, by Krishna's mercy, he has come in the Vigraha form so that we can offer service practically to him. So he accepts it in that form.
There is one comment. People want to visit big temples. We are attracting more people to follow Krishna consciousness. Wonderful. Yes, very nice to hear. Actually, yes, as mentioned, we are conditioned in such a way. Suppose I visit Delhi, so I will try to figure out what is the best place to visit Delhi, places to visit in Delhi, which mall is best, biggest mall, all such place we try to figure out. We have a tendency to judge. Same way, these acharyas, they construct such a huge temple to attract mass of the people, so that people in general get opportunity to make a spiritual advancement in their life. And as shared, that just like to cure our bodily disease, we have to visit hospital. Same way, to cure our material disease, bhava roga, we have to visit temple. To come out of this material existence, we have to go to temple. Now, what is the role of temple? It is just to go and have a darshan of the Lord? No. Krishna also, if we see on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna was completely devastated in his life, he don't know what to do, whether to fight or to flight, to run away from the battle, was completely devastated. So Krishna didn't told, oh, I am in front of you, you take my darshan, have my darshan and now fight. No. What Krishna did, in the middle of the battlefield, he delivered the message of this Bhagavad Gita. He gave Bhagavad Gita. So if we see how urgent the message of Bhagavad Gita is, how urgent it is, that Krishna in the middle of battlefield is delivering this message for the welfare of the people. So temple in the society plays a very important role. What role it plays? It guides the entire society. how to lead a meaningful life. It guides the society how to make a spiritual advancement in the life. It guides the society what is right or what is wrong. As all of us, we know, like when we come to Vrindavan Dham or any such holy place, when we go, all our sins, all our pap, our sins, even when we go and take dip in the Ganges, our sins will go away. But what happens? Our sinful tendency does not go away. We tend to commit sins, same sin, again and again. We may go back to our respective place. We'll commit the same sin. We'll commit the same activities we'll be doing. There will be no transformation. Just like someone was asking why there are so many monkeys in Vrindavan. So what happens? Even though their sins are washed away, their sinful tendencies were not washed away. So they commit sin, offenses to holy place, and as a result, they take birth in a lower species of life. So how this sinful tendency can go away? When we visit such temples, when we inquire about the self, when we try to get educated, when we try to get association of the sadhus. And who is a sadhu? Sadhu is not who is just wearing a dress. The sadhu is by the consciousness. Santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokyanti. His hridaya, his heart, is always carrying the Lord. His eyes are completely anointed with the love of that Supreme Lord. That is known as sadhu. So when we associate with such sadhu, so what happens? Our sinful tendencies goes away. And that is the first and foremost duty of the temple, to guide the entire society in such a way that they make a spiritual advancement in their life. So Acharyavan Purusho Veda, these Acharyas, they are completely well versed with the Vedas, so they know how to practically implement these teachings of the Vedas in such a way that general mass of people, they easily get benefited. Just like a doctor, he knows when a patient is sick, he knows this medicine is going to cure him. Even though that patient may know the consequence, means how this medicine is working, all that he may not know, or what is the composition of this medicine, all that he may not know. But when he takes that medicine faithfully, that medicine works and he gets cured. Same way, these acharyas, they developed such huge temple, they built such huge temples, so that people, when they come, they get darshan of the Lord. They get darshan of the Lord, opportunity to have darshan of the Lord. They get opportunity to participate in Harinama Sankirtan. They get opportunity to chant the holy name of the Lord. They get opportunity to have a Charanamrita of the Lord. They get opportunity to get Bhagavad Gita or some such Vedic scriptures or books. All such opportunities they get. They get opportunity to wear garland. They get opportunity to offer flowers or make some similar offerings to the Lord. And all such things help us to make a spiritual advancement, to develop that relationship with Krishna. Just like when we visit temple, we get opportunity to have prasadam. We eat prasad. Just simply by taking prasad, one's existence gets purified and one develops the love for Krishna. As we read in previous verses, that first it purifies our existence, then our intelligence become suitable, conducive to inquire about the self, to know the self, tattva jnana, then one can attain moksha, liberation. One can come out of this cycle of birth and death. Many people, out of ignorance or not complete understanding, just like we are in Vrindavan, we are constructing the world tallest temple. So many people question us, why you are constructing such a taller temple? You are making like a Vrindavan as a concrete jungle. Why all these things we are doing? So people with incomplete understanding, they cannot understand how this temple will attract the thousands and lakhs of people to this holy place Vrindavan Dham. And as we know, this holy place Vrindavan Dham, as soon as one touches even the land of this Vrindavan, one directly receives the devotion for that Supreme Lord. It's a Chintamani Dham. Just like by touching the touchstone, Chintamani means touchstone, or by touching the touchstone with some metal, it converts into gold. Same way, when we touch this holy place, land of holy place Vrindavan Dham, one will get opportunity to develop that devotion for the Lord. Like we know, India is well known for the Taj Mahal. People across the world, they visit India to visit Taj Mahal. But hardly people know about Vrindavan, which is hardly some 50-60 kilometers away from Taj Mahal or Agra. When we construct such a huge, magnificent temple, this will be located on the world map, and crores of people will get simply attracted. Just like Prabhupada, once a reporter, he asked Prabhupada when he was, constructing a temple, why you are making such a big temple? There are a lot of poor beggars in the society. If you feed them, that will be better. So Prabhupada says, it is not like if we feed the beggars, all the poverty will go away. America, it is such an economically developed nation. Even there also poor people are there. There is a poverty is there. But our real poverty is what? Not knowing Krishna. It is the poor person. How much ever money he may have, but if he does not know Krishna, he is the poorest person. So then further Prabhupada answers that for myself, a grass hut is sufficient. I am satisfied for a grass hut also. But how many people will come? How many people will come to know about Krishna? No one. Hardly anyone will come. Whereas, if such grand temples are there, even a person, he does not have any interest in bhakti or spirituality, by seeing such temple, he will simply get attracted to Krishna. He will make a spiritual advancement in his life. And when we make such a spiritual advancement in our life, when we develop that relationship with Krishna, our life will become free from all kinds of fear, abhayam. So this process is like ahetuki apratihata. There is no fear exists when one follow this process. Simply follow this process as it is. Like people, as we learn here, let not the wise disrupt the minds of ignorant people who are attached to fruitive actions. So people, they are very much attached to perform their work, to do all such activities. A person who is wise, is intelligent, who possesses that wisdom, means he has knowledge and he knows how to implement that knowledge. That person is known as a wise person or a learned person. So that person, what he does, he'll not disturb a person who is engaged in fruitive action. What are fruitive action? The work I am doing or the money that I am earning is of my hard labor. It is my blood and sweat. I want to enjoy it. I'll enjoy it. It belongs to me alone. It belongs to me. Forgetting all that how even this body is not ours, is given by Krishna, by the nature which is working under the direction of Krishna. We claim that it is our money or whatever talent or whatever it is. But when these wise people, they engage such people who are so much attached for sense gratification, how? By adding an element of devotion in their life, by adding Krishna into their life. How? Okay, you visit temple, we are constructing such a huge temple, why don't you support? So when suppose a businessman is there, he's earning a lot, so devotee will tell, okay, give some amount, some donation for the construction of temple. So what will happen? What will happen? He is getting a devotion. He is getting a devotion in his life towards Krishna. He is getting Krishna in his life. Because these temples are meant for the welfare of the society in such a way, it helps each individual to develop relationship with Krishna, by which one can easily come out of the existence of this material world. So, if we see how practical acharyas are, even if we see, like many of you might have visited Vrindavan. So if we see prominent temples, ancient temple of Vrindavan, like Madan Mohan temple, Govinda Dev temple, such a magnificent structures they were. Very huge, very tall, even though 500, 600 years old, 7-story, some 50, 60 feet tall, huge. Even those Goswamis, they have nothing, but they constructed such huge temples. For what purpose? So that people can get benefited. For themselves, they have no interest. Just like many times, like we devotees, we think, why to construct such temple? Why to take so much headache, running here, there. Always there is a tension in the mind, anxiety is there. Why for all these? Why all these things? But when we read Bhagavad Gita, we understand that this is not simply for ourselves, like we will get benefited, we are getting out something out of it. But it is simply meant so that people can get benefited, they can add Krishna into their life. So devotees, they are very compassionate by nature. They always want to help others, because they know that only Krishna can give the real protection in our life. Just like Duryodhan, he made all the arrangements He tried, whatever way he can secure himself. He tried, just like in our life, we take various insurance, this, that, relation, all such things. We try to make our position very secure. Just like Duryodhana, he did. But what happened? He forgot to add Krishna in his life. And even though he had all such huge army, he could not win the battle. So, when we add Krishna in our life, even though we are worst of the situation, we may not have any resources, we may not have anything in our life, we are always protected. Just like Pandavas, hardly they ever have any strength to withstand in front of Kaurava's army, but they had Krishna. So Acharyas, they give such opportunity for the people, all people, that they can add Krishna. Suppose by eating prasadam, we distribute prasadam through Akshapat. Across India, we are distributing 20 lakh students every day. They are getting opportunity to connect with Krishna by having Krishna prasadam. So what will happen? They will get purified, they will make a spiritual advancement. Even though it may look very ordinary activity, but their relationship with Krishna will develop by performing such activities. So Acharyas, they are very merciful and they know the purport of the Vedas and they act and guide the society in that way. Just to summarize, we understood today how a learned man who is situated in a devotional life or who is practicing bhakti yoga or who is a devotee, how he acts, and a person who is ignorant or he is completely attached to the fruitive activities, how that person acts. The difference between both of them is one is acting for the pleasure of the Lord, one is acting for his own sense gratification. And when one acts for his own sense gratification, he get implicated in this material world, whereas a person who is acting for the pleasure of the Lord, he gets simply liberated by performing his acts for the pleasure of the Lord. And these acharyas, the great personalities, Mahajanas, who are completely well versed with the scriptures, they know the purport of the Vedas, they practically help all the living entities how they can make spiritual progress in their life by introducing such systems or such things, just like constructing a huge temple, magnificent temple for the Lord, where entire society get benefited, not only economically but spiritually. Just like temple creates a lot of opportunity for employment, lots of opportunity for business for the local community. Not only in that way but also spiritually, one gets direct chance to develop that attachment with Krishna. So when we move our attachment, whatever attachment or aspirations or ambitions we may have in our life, and we center around those aspirations, our ambitions with Krishna, one will simply get purified. And one of the best way to get purified is to offer whatever fruits we get in the service of Krishna, because we are so much attached to this fruitive activities. Means I want to enjoy the fruit of my work. We are so much deeply, thickly attached to it. But when we offer such fruits in the service of the Lord, we get simply free from the bondage of material activities, material world. So yes, anyone has anything to share or anything to ask?
Prabhuji,
Okay. Yes.
Prabhuji, temple means T means tranquility, E for engagement, M for meditation, P for purification, L for love, and E for engagement.
Yes. So temple fulfills all these things. It helps us to develop love for the Lord by meditating and engaging ourselves in the service of the Lord. Wonderful. So, by engaging in service of the Lord, by performing meditation, we get purified and we develop love for the Supreme Lord. Okay, so we will end here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki,
की जय
Srila Prabhupada ki,
जय
जय
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Guru.
Hare Krishna.